If I add a deck, if I add a patio, if I add a shed, if I add a shop, a fireplace, solar panels. Oh crap, that's a big one, right? What's going to happen if I add solar panels? What happens if I add a tower so I can spy on my neighbors from the backyard? I don't know. These things come up, and we as appraisers are looked at as experts. At least we should be.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
We get this question as appraisers all the time. If I add X, what will it do for my value? I want to remind you we are sponsored by ANOW Software. ANOW, of course, is it's the way I manage my appraisal office. In fact, so much so that my wonderful operations manager came to me just the other day, and she said, I really, really need to get to know ANOW inside and out, because that really is the heart blood of our company. I said, you got it. You nailed it. ANOW allows us to do everything that we need to do as appraisers and as appraisal business owners. Check them out at anow.com/coach. One more time, it's anow.com/coach. All right, folks, going to talk today about a question that we get on a regular basis. I don't know about you, but I get it on a regular basis. I either get, a neighbor or a phone call from someone I may not know, or a lot of times it just happens when I'm at the observation. I'm there, I'm doing things, I'm asking questions, I'm talking about this, that, and the other, and the homeowner might say, hey, we were thinking about adding a deck. What's that going to do for our value? As if we're going to say, well, it will increase it actually $2,300. Sometimes they ask these questions, and I seriously am like, do you really think I'm that good? But it is a question that we deal with on a pretty regular basis. And it is something that we should be able to answer, right? If I add a deck, if I add a patio, if I add a shed, if I add a shop, a fireplace, solar panels. Oh crap, that's a big one, right? What's going to happen if I add solar panels? What happens if I add a tower so I can spy on my neighbors from the backyard? I don't know. These things come up, and we as appraisers are looked at as experts. At least we should be. The reason they're asking the question of you, appraisers, is because they see you as a valuation expert. I hope that's the way that you see yourself, because you are. But here's the problem. With questions like this, the answer, of course, is very simple. Ready? Here's the answer. It depends. I want to pause here and remind you, of course, we are sponsored by ANOW Software. ANOW is the ability to manage everything that's going on in your office, really on two levels. Well, three levels, okay? So first of all, you're managing each and every appraisal order, and they go through a life cycle. You've got step 1, step 2, step 3. Well, there's more than 3 steps, but you get the point. It goes on and on. Where is the appraisal at any point along that realm? And if someone calls in the afternoon and wants to know what's going on with a report, can you quickly look and see, oh yeah, the homeowner was called this morning, we left a voicemail. Can you see what's going on? I'll tell you can with ANOW. On the second level, it allows you to be able to manage your business on a macro level. How many appraisals are you doing? What's your volume? What's your revenue? Yeah, what's your revenue? That's a big one. And then third is on the financial side, managing who's paid their bills and who hasn't, being able to invoice directly from the program. It's an absolutely amazing program for appraisers. It was created by appraisers for appraisers. It's called ANOW, and you can find them at anow.com/coach. One more time, anow.com/coach. All right, welcome back, folks. We're talking today about, we're talking about value. We're talking about amenities. How do amenities affect value? And a lot of times we get these questions from borrowers. I'm thinking of adding a shop. I got one just literally 3 days ago. I got a text from one of my neighbors. Hey, Dustin, you know our house. Thinking about adding a shop. It's going to cost us about $75,000 to build. What do you think it's going to do for value? Well, I just wrote back right away and I said, well, it will give you $74,000 in value, so you probably shouldn't do it. No, the problem is it does depend. It depends on so many factors. And, some of these questions, it's so challenging because we as appraisers, because we're licensed, okay, I think I would be remiss today if I didn't stop and pause and say, you got to be careful with questions like this, because when you're starting to talk about value, you are starting to get into the realm of regulation, USPAP, that kind of thing. So you need to be really careful about how you answer these types of questions. But, you want to be able to answer them from a point of intelligence. And so the best thing to say is it depends, right? Because it does. It depends. Plus, it puts you on the scale of, hey, you know what? This isn't a simple answer. And I'm glad you asked the question, but there's so much more that goes into it. Let me give you some examples. First of all, what is the norm for the neighborhood? Hey, I live in a tract home development, half-acre lots, and I want to build a shop that's bigger than my house. What's I going to add for value? Well, if you're the only one in the neighborhood that has a shop, maybe not much. Maybe it'll detract from value. Who knows? But as real estate professionals, we should be able to know what the answer is, and then we can get into the realm of, do we charge for that? Is it a consulting job? There's a lot that goes into that, but there's so much that depends when we're talking in amenities, right? What will it cost to put in? Again, cost versus value. A deck may run you $8,000 after materials and labor, but may only add $2,000 in value, if at all, if anything at all. I find it very, very difficult sometimes and often don't adjust for small things because, first of all, the cost to put in is often a lot more than what they get back in the value of their home. But second of all, being able to actually statistically prove how much a deck is worth, for example, on a $200,000 home. I mean, good luck with that, right? But there's a lot of things to look at, First of all, what about, resellability? $8,000 may be a drop in the bucket, frankly, for a deck if the value increase makes it more sellable. Maybe the value is not a huge thing, but what about sellability? All right. My first month as an appraiser, I remember appraising a house. I remember right where it is. I could drive to it today, and this was 4 years ago. I appraised a house where the homeowner had just put in an $18,000 paved driveway, okay? I think it was gravel before that. I don't know. It was a long driveway. $18,000 he put in a paved driveway. He fully expected that to add $18,000 to the value of a home. Spoiler alert, it didn't, right? Amenities often cost more to put in than they give you back in the value of your home. But, and here's a key, they will often make the home more attractive and decrease the exposure time or the days on market. Let me give you an example, okay? Take a neighborhood of $250,000 homes. 4 homes on the market are model matches. Okay, one is a nice shed in the backyard. It costs $8,000 to put in. Probably wouldn't make the house sell for $258,000, right? But it might be the first house to sell out of those 4 that might be listed. That's worth something, even if reducing the number of mortgage payments that someone might make. Now, as appraisers, we have to look at it a little bit differently, but as you're consulting with homeowners, as you're reaching out to borrowers and they're asking you questions, there's a lot of things that go into that. I would warn that you don't give them a direct answer to a question of how much will this add to the value of my home. But indirectly, you can teach them some principles of value and where value derives from, where it comes from, what causes value to go up and down, what cost versus value is. These are things, as appraisers, we should know because we truly are valuation experts. Do you want to be a business expert? In other words, do you want to be able to be an expert in your own business? That is, you are successful as a business owner, an appraiser business owner. I hope so, and I hope you'll join me for the Appraiser Academy. We meet monthly, and we have an opportunity to interact online, live, every single month. It is great. It's a great time to get together with appraisers across the nation who are all focused on one thing, and that is increasing their success, their prosperity, their bottom line. Join us, won't you? Go to theappraisercoach.com and click on memberships to learn more.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.